The dust of the African plains hung thick in the morning air. A small band of Australopithecus enamensis, stocky bodies covered in coarse hair, heavy brows shadowing sharp eyes, moved together across the golden savanna. Their bellies were hollow, ribs sharp beneath stretched skin. The herd they followed towered ahead, colossal ancient elephants, Deinotherium, with down-curved tusks longer than a man's body. The band's eyes were fixed on the beasts. Not to hunt them, they were far too massive, but to scavenge from their movements, from the bones and broken trees left in their wake. One female carried a bundle of stone flakes in a woven sheath of grass leaves, tools for cracking marrow or stripping bark. Another, her belly swollen with late pregnancy, leaned on the support of her kin. The youngest darted forward, plucking beetles and locusts from the grass, popping them into their mouths. Hunger gnawed, but hope glimmered. Where the giants walked, food followed. The Deinotherium herd slowed at a grove of acacia trees, ripping branches with thunderous force. The Australopithecus band crept closer, skirting the edge of the grove. As the elephants tore down limbs, the band rushed in to grab fallen pods, chewing the bitter seeds. A young male cracked open a marrow bone scavenged from a lion's old kill, smearing his face with grease. For a heartbeat, the band's hunger eased. Then came the first danger. A saber-toothed cat, massive shoulders rippling, fangs curving like ivory blades, slipped from the tall grass. Its golden eyes locked on the pregnant female struggling at the edge of the grove. The band erupted in shrieks, waving arms, hurling stones. The saber cat crouched, muscles coiled to spring. But the elephants had noticed too. With a trumpet of rage, one Deinotherium bull charged, tusks slicing through the air. The cat wheeled away, vanishing back into the grass. Dust settled. The band pressed closer on the pregnant one, touching her arms, her face, her swollen belly. For now, she lived. But the cat's appearance meant the plains were no longer safe. The band moved on, keeping pace with the giant herd as the sun climbed higher. By midday, heat shimmered like fire on the horizon. The band sought water. Cracked lips and heavy breath slowed them, until at last they smelled the damp earth of a river. One by one they edged forward, cupping water into folded leaves, trickling it into the mouths of the youngest. But danger churned the surface. A crocodile lunged, its jaws snapping around the leg of a young male. He screamed silent terror, thrashing as the beast dragged him toward the current. Instantly, the band attack stones pounded the crocodile's head, sticks jabbed into its eyes. Blood churned red into the water. At last the predator released. The young male scrambled back onto the bank, flesh torn but alive. They packed his wounds with crushed bitter leaves, pressing until the bleeding slowed. The smell of blood lingered, sharp in the hot air. Crocodiles drifted just beyond reach, waiting. The band withdrew, shaken but whole. Their march continued, slower now, their injured limping in the center of the group. As the sun dipped, black clouds gathered on the horizon. The wind shifted. The elephants quickened their pace, rumbling low, heading for higher ground. The band followed, but the storm broke before they reached shelter. Lightning split the sky, thunder shook the earth, and rain crashed down in blinding sheets. The band huddled together beneath a fallen tree, hair plastered to their skin, arms wrapped around children. One bolt struck nearby, igniting dry grass into flame. The youngest screamed, clutching their mothers. Yet the flame did not consume them. It spread only in a brief line, then sputtered out under the storm. Still, the smell of smoke seared into their memory. When the storm passed, night fell heavy and damp. The band crept into a shallow cave for shelter, pressing their bodies close for warmth. The pregnant female groaned, clutching her belly. Labor had begun. The others crowded around, hands steadying her shoulders, placing herbs against her lips. Hours dragged, broken only by the rhythm of her breath and the cries of the newborn as dawn returned. A new life had joined them, but survival gave little time for joy. Hunger drove them back into the savanna. They followed the elephants still, knowing the giants would lead them to uprooted trees and scattered fruit. Yet another danger brewed. Both bands converged at the grove of figs where the elephants lingered. The clash was sudden. A rival male swung a heavy branch, striking the scarred elder of the band across the chest, sending him crashing into the dust. The pregnant female's newborn was clutched tight as she crouched in the shadows, baring her teeth. For long minutes, chaos ruled. At last, thunder rumbled again on the horizon. The survivors circled their wounded. The elder coughed, chest rising shallow, but he still breathed. The band smeared his wounds with clay, cooling the swelling. Their unity had saved them, yet the cost weighed heavy. By dusk, the elephants moved again, heading toward a marshy valley. The band followed. The elephants moved carefully, but the Australopithecus did not. One young male, eager for fruit, rushed ahead and sank into the mud. His arms thrashed, mouth filling with muck. The band screamed, rushing to the edge, hurling sticks, pulling vines. The scarred elder, still weak, stepped forward with fierce determination. But danger had not ended. The commotion drew the attention of predators. A pack of giant hyenas slunk from the grass, eyes glinting, jaws snapping. The band circled, raising stones and branches. The elephants trumpeted, charging through the marsh, scattering the hyenas with earth-shaking power. For once, giants and small ones survived together. As night fell, the band gathered on higher ground, far from the marsh. They huddled around their injured, the newborn at the center of the circle. The marrow of scavenged bones was cracked open, shared in greasy handfuls. Children laughed, smearing fat across their cheeks. The scarred elder leaned against a stone, his breath slow but steady, eyes watching the stars. The elephants moved on, shadows in the distance. The Australopithecus band would follow, as they always had. Yet in this night, they found peace, unity, and survival, laughter and hunger, and the warmth of life against the vast silence of the ancient plain. And in their endurance, they wrote a story of fire, of struggle, of survival, a story that would echo down millions of years, long before words were ever spoken.